Hello, mamas. A few years ago, a friend of mine said this to me. She was overwhelmed to the point of inactivity. And I think we've all been there at different points of our lives. So if you feel like you are overwhelmed to the point that you don't even know where to begin, stay tuned. I'm going to tell you where to begin. Hello, welcome back to Tight Ship Mama. If you're new here, my name is Gina and I run this channel called Tight Ship Mama where I talk about running your home like a tight ship, talking about budgeting, decluttering, meal planning, implementing routines, and a little personal development. So today we're going to talk about being overwhelmed and where to begin. Sometimes people get overwhelmed for lots of different reasons. Maybe there was an illness, maybe it's soccer season, maybe it's a new baby, maybe you've been overwhelmed for years and you can't exactly pinpoint why or when it started. But I think it's safe to say we have all felt it at one point or another. And when you feel overwhelmed to the point that you don't even know where to begin, this is where you begin. So everything I talk about on this channel is baby steps. I talk about the Dave Ramsey baby steps to financial freedom and decluttering and budgeting, and I never want to just spring everything on you because I think that that's a recipe for disaster and fizzling out really quickly. So a body in motion tends to stay in motion. So sometimes we just need a little bit of a push to get started, and then you start decluttering a drawer in your kitchen, and the next thing you know, you've got all the cabinets reorganized and the label maker is out and you're just on a roll and you're like, where did the whole weekend go? But everything looks great in the end. So that's what we're trying to do today, is just kind of give you a little bit of a push to get you going. And the whole point of the Dave Ramsey baby steps is to start with the smallest debt because you want to have a win. And that's what I'm going to talk about today too, with getting your home kind of back to square when you're feeling overwhelmed. You want little wins that are going to keep you going. So I've got 10 things for you. The first one is, I want you to get up and make your bed. It's really simple. It'll be done in less than a minute. It brings instant order and a sense of completion to your day. And you've only been awake for about 3 minutes. So get that bed made. Number 2. I want you to go to your closet and be able to quickly decide what you're going to wear. And you're only going to get to that point after you have thoroughly decluttered your wardrobe. I have a video on decluttering your wardrobe, and when moms call me and just say that they're totally overwhelmed, I always say to them, first thing is declutter your wardrobe. Before you hit the toys, before you hit the kitchen, before you do anything else that you feel is overwhelming, put your own oxygen mask on first by making sure that you are dressed fully down to shoes every single day in an outfit that you love and makes you look and feel fabulous. Because then you can move on to running the rest of your home when you feel a little spring in your step because you look good and you feel good. So get that wardrobe majorly decluttered. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. If I go down to the bare minimum, I'm going to have more laundry. You will be doing laundry more often, but you probably need to be doing laundry more often no matter what. So having a smaller wardrobe is just going to force you to stay on top of it. I just do 1 load a day and there's 6 of us. And the laundry is never overwhelming, it never gets out of control, and I'm never spending an entire weekend doing laundry. 3, if you do feel that you are drowning in laundry, what I want you to do is start with a load of towels. This is very specific, and I do this for a reason, because it's easy. They're easy to find in your house. They're easy to throw in as one big load. They're easy to dry and fold and put away. They stack beautifully. And again, you're gonna have an instant feeling of gratification, and maybe you'll be more inspired to move on to the next load. Number 4. 4 might be a bit extreme, but if you are feeling totally overwhelmed with the dishes in the sink and dishes in kids' bedrooms, and you feel like things are all over the house that should be in the kitchen, then I suggest you go down to 1 set of dishes per person. And if your kids are old enough, they're responsible for their own set of dishes. Some people that do what I do also recommend that you have a different color for each person in your family. I we don't do that. We all have the same china. But while you're getting your house in order and maybe going through a tough season that you're feeling a little stressed, this is a really simple way. Again, it forces you to do the dishes so that you're not starting your morning with a sink full of dishes from the night before. So that's another thing, is like really try to clean up your kitchen before you go to bed so you're waking up with a nice clean slate. Number five, I also recommend if you are moving to a new home, I would recommend that you have a box that has your coffee maker and all the things that you would need for your breakfast and things that would make you feel comfortable. Towels, shampoo, all the things that you could easily get your day up and running. What I also recommend for you, if your home is overwhelming or if you've just moved into a new home, is work really hard at creating one room that is your sanctuary. This means that there are no projects to be completed, there is no clutter, it's clean, there's no dust or anything. It's just a place that at the end of the day, you can go and just feel like you can relax. My first choice is for this to be the master bedroom, but I love my sunroom in my own room. And when I'm feeling a little bit overwhelmed in the middle of my day, I'll simply go in my sunroom and I'll open the door and I'll listen to the birds, and that's kind of my place where I can regroup and I can start fresh and go again. Number 6, make a really simple meal plan. I cannot emphasize enough the importance of a meal plan, especially if you are trying to get your budget under control. Eating out is a budget buster. So what I want you to do is make the simplest meal plan you can ever imagine. 3 to 5 days of breakfast, lunch, dinner, and snacks of what your kids and your family will eat. I don't care if it's frugal, I don't care if it's healthy. Just have a plan, because nothing is more expensive than running through drive-thru or going out to eat as a family. So make a plan that is not gonna cause the kids to have, any issues at dinner that they don't like what you're making. Just for right now, keep the peace, make what they're gonna eat so that you can take care of the rest of the stuff in your house. Number 7, I want you to cut up those credit cards. I know, so if you really are into like Dave Ramsey, you're probably thinking, why isn't she saying to budget first? But I'm gonna say cut up the credit cards first, because if you are in debt, the number one thing is to stop digging. You have to really get control of your spending. And the easiest way to do that is to cut off the stuff you can't afford to buy. If you can't pay cash, you can't afford it. Simple as that. So cut up those credit cards, force yourself to go to cash, and force yourself to live with what you actually make. Next, number 8. Number 8. Now I want you to budget. So I want you to make a budget. We recommend the Dave Ramsey app for, it's called the Every Dollar app. It's what my husband and I use. And we simply use the free version, and it works really well for us. It does force you to communicate. It forces you to keep up with your bank statements and balance the statement versus the app. But it's really good to see it every single day, and you can link 2 spouses together, so I can see if he spends something and he can see if I spend something. So if you follow what I'm doing, you are naturally going to have more money, because when you declutter, you aren't going to be spending frivolously on clothing and stuff, because you're like, well, I just did all that decluttering my wardrobe, so I'm not going to just buy this because it's on sale. Like, do I really love it? Does it really make me feel fabulous? And chances are you're going to say no, and you're going to put it back. And so you're naturally going to be saving more money. So with the budget, it's going to give every dollar a destination, and that's what you want. You want to be intentional and tell your money where it needs to go, and that's going to build wealth. Okay, number 9. I want you to take a little bit of credit for what you're doing right. It has come to my attention recently that not everyone thinks they're a good mom or a good dad or a good spouse. And I'll be honest, it kind of caught me off guard, because while I don't think I'm a perfect mom or wife, I do feel like I'm a really good one, because if for no other reason, I really try and I want to be a good one. And the fact that you're watching a YouTube channel on how to run your home better tells me that you are as well. So what I want you to do, because as moms and husbands, we're not getting credit throughout the course of the day for what we are doing. So sometimes we have to pat our own selves on the back. I want you to take a few minutes every day, whether it's to journal or just to verbally say out loud what you did that day specifically that made you a good mom. You know, maybe you played cards at the pool instead of looking through Instagram or Facebook with your kids. Maybe you made a dinner that your spouse really likes. Little things like that. Give yourself credit and try to change the mindset and what you're saying to yourself. Instead of saying like, oh my gosh, I really messed that up with my kid, or I'm such a bad mom. Look for the good. Because if you're constantly looking for the good and you're looking for the opportunity to be grateful in all things, looking for gratitude, it's going to change your mind and it's going to change your whole outlook. And I can't tell you how the benefits of it, because it's intangible. But when you start looking for the good in people always and looking for the good in all the situations, it really, it will bring abundance to you in ways that I can't really put into words. You just have to trust me on that one. Okay, number 10, I want you to really focus on your why. There is no reason to be decluttering and trying to make your house all ship-shape if there isn't a why at the end of it. So sit down and really figure out, what do I want when I'm done decluttering, when I do have my house running smoothly? What's the ultimate goal? Because if you don't have an ultimate goal, you're gonna get there and you'll be like, here we are, house is looking good, kids are good, everything's good, now what? So figure out what you wanna do, because if you do what I'm telling you to do, I guarantee you're gonna have more time and more money. It's just naturally going to happen. So figure out what you're gonna do with that extra time and that extra money. And only you can do that. And that why is what you're gonna have to come back to when you feel like you're getting a little stuck. So make sure it's crystal clear. Maybe put it up on your mirror so that you remind yourself every day why you're doing what you're doing. So tune in next week. I'm gonna talk about keeping it simple. And I'll see you Monday. Have a great week.